Hello my lovelies and welcome to Allotment of the Dead. Oh crikey, nearly fell over again. I'm doing that a lot of late. Right, come down, really quite a wet night tonight. The outside ground is absolutely saturated. But when you've got indoor growing spaces like polytunnels, unfortunately, you still have to come down and water. I'll show you kind of what they're looking like at the moment, just as a quick video. And then I'm going to need to feed them. I've not been able to get down last week in terms of feeding them. I did water, didn't do a great deal of feeding. So they're due, especially in the polytunnels, a bit of a feed with some seaweed fertilizer and a little bit of chili focus, and we'll see how that goes for them. They are looking okay though, not too bad at all, and we're getting plenty of fruit on them already, so I probably already need to do a harvest. Let's switch around. Okay, so I think you can see probably the lush growth that's there. Beans are still playing catch up. They were quite late in the ground. But yeah, we're getting kind of, I don't know if you see that little flack of little bit of yellow there. That's the flowers off the courgettes coming there. So yeah, really good. And got the sweet peas. I've had a couple of harvests off these already. They are still blooming, and I'm not going to pick them when it's wet though, because these flowers go a little bit soggy. I'll let them dry out a bit before I start picking those. And the tomatoes, I think, are finally finding their feet. Again, I was quite late with these, but we'll see how they get on. But you can see that ground is absolutely sodden with the rain we've had recently. Right, let's show you quickly inside the polytunnels before I see. I've got my hose already there before I start doing a bit of feeding and watering. Nasturtiums are doing absolutely fantastic, self-seeded, doing exactly what nasturtiums are supposed to do. In other words, grow everywhere and attract the aphids and white flies, black flies, that sort of thing, so that the chilies don't get attacked. And there is already plenty of fruit on a lot of these chilies and sweet peppers. There's lots going on. I'm giving the plants a bit of a shake every time I come down as well. That increases the pollination in here, because as we've said before, the chilies don't need insects to pollinate. They just need a little bit of a shake. I think I'm probably going to have to keep some of these nasturtiums under control a little bit, but you can eat them, so that's okay. And what we've got in the other one, let me just get past up here. So the ricotta peppers are doing really well, and we've already got quite a bit of growth on the melons, and they're already starting to put flowers out. Most of these are male flowers. You can see they're male flowers because they haven't got a growth behind them. You end up with quite a bulbous kind of look about the flower. There we go, I can show you one there. So this here is the female flower. You can see there it's got a nice little bulbous growth behind it, which would be in effect the developing melon. The thing with melons, same as most of the similar plants of this nature, is that they do, a little bit like cucumbers, put out the male flowers first. They get the insects interested, and then the female flowers follow soon after. So hopefully you get that pollination and you get some nice fruit, but we'll see how that goes. But as you can see, everything is seemingly doing okay in here. There is a few weeds that I need to address again, as you would expect. The tomatoes, I've not got any fruit on them yet. Plenty of little flowers here, but no fruit, and the same here as well. So these are the tumbling toms that I got off Deb's veg plot, but yeah, they're doing okay. So we'll be all right. But again, they just need that bit of watering. These inside growing spaces, the only problem you have with them is that you don't get that continuous watering unless you set up something like an internal irrigation system, which are relatively okay. They're quite cheap and they do quite well. as long as you've got an irrigation going to each plant. The other things growing in here is the Tamarillo, still doing really well, and still smelling a lot of peanut butter. And then we've got the other Brugmansia here, which I'm going to have to put outside very shortly before these start flowering. I don't want to be succumbing to the smells that you get from the flowers off those. And then we've got the cucamelons already starting to put out again these nice little fruits starting. Right, so let's get this set up, and I'll just show you kind of what I'm going to feed these plants with. So I'm using a mixture of the Doff's liquid seaweed and Chilli Focus, which is something I've used quite often when it comes to feeding these chilies and things. Right, so let's set the camera up, and then I'll give these a feed so you can kind of see how long it kind of takes me to do. Right, so right, I've set this up so it will film the other polytunnel as I feed that one. Give you an idea as to actually how long it takes. I will speed the video up. It does take quite a while because I do use the watering can. Gives you better control as to where you're actually putting the feed. And yeah, we'll see how long this takes. I'll basically film the entire thing. I'll fast forward it when we come to actually edit it, but we'll have an idea exactly how long it takes to actually feed a polytunnel. Right, here we go. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that rain now. Absolutely chucking it down now outside. But again, you've still got to water inside these polytunnels just to make sure that nothing dries out. That took me, for one polytunnel, about 15 minutes or so. So I don't give them a massive amount of feed. It's not like I kind of empty an entire can over every plant. entire watering can over every plant. I kind of water a row. You do about maybe 3-4 rows of plants, and generally then you move on, refill, move on. So I don't know whether you saw how many watering cans full I actually put in there. It wasn't a massive amount. I kind of intermittently feed with the water in between as well. So that's kind of what I do generally throughout the course of the season. Right, I'm going to get on and do this polytunnel as well, and hopefully these plants should continue growing superbly like they are now. I'm going to see in there the plants are getting quite large now, and yeah, we're going to have some really good chilies hopefully off all of those. So we'll see you on the next video. So all the best, take care, bye bye.